Dear friends, so today I'm very pleased to launch this new series, Breaking the Horizon. Though the circumstances in which I have decided to share my thoughts on 7 steps for venturing into dairy sector, so those circumstances may not be very good, as all of us know. We are passing through this phase of national lockdown and all of us are at home. But I feel that yes, this is also the time which may give us opportunity to think about something important for which in our day to day or routine life we may not get much of time. So there are certain questions which need to be answered whenever we look at any kind of startup. And for a startup, it is very important to answer those questions. I think the whole journey is all about gaining clarity, because with clarity you get better choices, and with better choices you make better decisions. So this series, Breaking the Horizon, is a step to help you gain more clarity about your business, particularly the dairy startup which you are planning, though these methods are applicable on any kind of business which you want to pursue. All the thoughts being shared are not mine. I have learned over a period of time from people like you, from my mentors, Robin Sharma, Simon Sinek, the people whom I always follow and try to learn from them. But I think over and above my mentors, my major learning has come through those large number of entrepreneurs whom I interacted in last 30 years of, let's say, journey with Suruchi Consultants. And I have seen them very closely, because the whole journey is a solo journey. I have seen them in their solitude. I have felt what the kind of entrepreneur they wanted to become, the kind of change they wanted to make in the society when they started. So I can really empathize. So my major learning are actually contributed to their efforts for making some kind of impact in the society, and most of them have made. So now let us see what's there in today's episode. As I told you, it's a 7 episode series. So in the first one, we are talking about why. Why do you want to start a dairy? Because I think for those who are just in the infancy stage and planning to enter into dairy business, and for those who have already stepped in and are somewhere, let's say, in the initial phases when the business is getting stabilized, and even for those who are in the growth phase and enjoying it a lot, these videos which I am making in this 7-part series, these videos may connect with everyone. And what I request, whichever stage you are, just try to rewind a little back and try to bring yourself at the genesis of your business, the moment when you were starting. So for the startups who are just at infancy, I think it is the right time. For others, you can adjust your timeline accordingly. Now, when we talk about business, and particularly a business like dairy, there has to be a very compelling reason. And particularly from Indian context, in our society, the way our family, the way our society, the way our friends, the way anybody whom we are interacting with, the way they look at dairy is not that, though it's a white business, but it's not being considered as a white collar business. But let me tell you how strong this business is. In today's time, whether you hear our respected Prime Minister's Modi ji's speech, or you go through any kind of notification by any state, the latest one being came from Secretary Agriculture, in each of them milk is being considered as number one in the essential services and essential product. So today I can proudly say that at the time of calamity, it is those thousands, hundreds, lakhs of dairymen who are meeting requirements of each and everyone in our country. And all of them belong to this fraternity of dairy. I am really blessed that I have been given opportunity in this life to serve this sector. So this is just, I want to tell you that how strong and how compelling reason is this for me to be here in dairy. I don't know about you. You will have to find your reasons, because dairy till date was never considered as something, which people might be lining up to join or to enter. Now, there is an agenda of this particular episode. So it's a step-by-step process, you can say. So it may begin with what is entrepreneurship, and I'm not going to take you into academics of it. Couple of you who might have joined some courses or attended some startup seminars and all that, you might have got enough of stuff on that. No, I'm not going to talk academically, but I am going to share my perspective of what I mean what entrepreneurship is. And then what is the power of dream? Because it is all about, there is some kind of foolish compulsion, or there is some kind of a foolish idea which the world consider, and that later on gets converted into a dream which changes the world through the eyes of an entrepreneur. So what is that power of dream? And then we will be working on COP model, because each episode you will be having a few questions to be answered, and I request each and every one of you, whichever stage of business you are, still you answer those questions. Whether you share it or not, that is not important, but at least you should gain more clarity on the kind of activities you are currently involved with. Then I will be sharing that how a firm's life cycle is created and how the entrepreneurial journey starts. And I'll be completing this particular episode with the title, that is, what is your why? We will try to explore, we will go by a golden circle, we will go by what is your why, we will look into that, and we will help you structure that why or identify that why. So, what is entrepreneurship? So most of the time when we ask this question, then answer always remains something to do with creativity, something to do with innovativeness, something to do with risk-taking capability. And there are so many other versions of entrepreneurship, and there are even different school of thoughts. Even there are ways of entrepreneurship. For example, in US alone, we find that there are 28 million entrepreneurs. But out of those 28 million entrepreneurs, 24 million entrepreneurs are solo entrepreneurs. Now what does this mean? In that particular case, probably there is not much of inclusion, and it is more like a self-employed person rather than an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is maybe much more wider, but still I don't say that those 24 million entrepreneurs who are solo entrepreneurs are not entrepreneurs. No, I am not saying so. Because the way I have seen entrepreneurs work, I have seen couple of startups, who are now 20, 25, 30 years old. I have seen one thing in them, and probably that is what my take on entrepreneurship is. I always saw them in action. So from my perspective, inaction is not entrepreneurship. I still don't have a very elaborate or very precise definition for entrepreneurship, but yes, I have a very, very clear-cut kind of impression of entrepreneurship of what not is entrepreneurship, I am very sure inaction is not entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is all about taking actions. You have to take action. It's not important whether it's a small step or it's a even getting yourself registered for this program. It's an action. When people come and attend our programs, or they call me, or they set up the mentoring sessions, at that time I simply say that yes, you have already taken an action, and that shows your commitment towards your dream. So when we talk of dream, so most of the time dream has nothing to do with day or night, with sleeping or not sleeping. I think it is not about, most of the time what people say, that it is something which you get while you are sleeping. I think I have seen entrepreneurs, and I fully endorse this statement, that dream is not what you see in sleep. Dream is the thing which does not let you sleep. You have to identify what is that thing, what is that bug which is not putting you to sleep, which is disturbing your sleep all the time. And that is from where the journey starts. Now in this journey, the most important thing right in the beginning is to find your sweet spot. When I say sweet spot, and I'll be discussing it slightly more later on, when I'll be talking about what exactly are you going to put on the table. So that sweet spot, when I talk about that, it is at the intersection or at the trisection of three major capabilities: competence, passion, and opportunity. So there are three elements to be considered or to be scanned in your life, and this is highly customized, in the sense it is highly personal. It is like your DNA. So most of the time, why few entrepreneurs become successful and few are not that successful, the reason might not be anywhere linked to their capability to work hard, or on their diligence, or on their smartness, or on their educational level, or on their financial position. Rather, it has more to do with this COP model, that something has gone wrong somewhere. So that sweet spot was not that sweet. And that is why the person with all kind of capabilities, even better than others, the person still could not find the kind of place which he deserved in the industry, as against the people who have got it. So it is not about that person is not committed. At times some kind of aberration has occurred on this COP model. So let's start with competence. So when we talk of competence, so there are two ways of looking at it. One is everything about what you know, that is the core, because all of us have got maybe 20 billion neurons, and out of that maybe we are making use of maximum 10% of them. And then even if I take 1% of that also, it's huge knowledge. Our memories, our knowledge, our learnings, so many things. And then there is something what we call it as what we think we know. So that is a further extension to what we actually know. So now when we look at it, so at personal level, how do we know that where are we competent? So one thing is skill, one thing is education, what we have gained over a period of time. The skill, the hands-on kind of thing, the knowledge which we have gained through reading or watching something, or maybe we might got coached on something. But there is something which we really know, that whenever we do anything, that is the area where we add value. So we have to find that particular thing as competence. So that when we say competence, it has something to do where most of the time your propensity to be graded high is high. In that particular case, it is not about you are a natural carrier of that particular trait. So it is not that you have, for temporarily you have gained that kind of a thing, but time and again whenever you are being tested on that trait, you find that you are being graded higher as compared to others. I'll just cite an example. For example, in my case, though there are certain areas where I think yes, I might have gained some kind of learning or capability, but at times whenever it comes to some kind of teaching, some kind of training, some kind of coaching, at that time I feel that yes, that is the area probably where I can help others gain more clarity. But I am not saying that that is the only trait which we are focusing on, but yes, that is one of the competence which I should keep in mind while I decide the sweet spot or while implementing the COP model. The second most important thing is passion. So most of the time when we talk about passion, so people mistakenly consider passion to be something which they love, and we love practically everything. All of us we have got a primitive mind, we have got a kind of ego, and whatever comes in front of us, whatever is attractive, we want to have that. So there is a kind of primitive instinct, so which makes us acquire or have anything whatever is good. If somebody is doing some good business, I have a tendency to go for that if I have funds. If somebody has good car, I'll go for that. If somebody has got good girlfriend, I'll go for that. It's life. We are designed like that. We must understand and appreciate it. So, but when we talk about passion, so passion is something else. Passion is not some kind of infatuation or some kind of likeliness for something. Passion has more to do something for which we are ready to suffer. It is much deeper. It is a cause, it is a goal, it is something which we want to attain for ourselves, it is something which we would like to have for others. So in that particular case, we have to identify what is that element, what is that something for which you are ready to suffer. Even if the whole world is against you, if nobody is agreeing to your idea, still you will hold on to that particular idea. Try to identify what that thing is. And last but not the least in the COP model is opportunity. So when I say opportunity is nothing but a kind of mapping the trends at a contemporary level. So when I say mapping the trends, opportunity keeps on changing. And most of the time, one of the definition of entrepreneurship also says that it is only entrepreneurs who looks opportunity in challenges, while other looks all the opportunities as challenge. So it is just the vice versa. So a true entrepreneur looks for opportunity in any kind of challenge. So are you doing same? But other question to be asked over here is that in which time frame are you looking for those opportunities? So that is why I have used the term contemporary. The kind of situation we are currently in, for example, this coronavirus, and maybe by God's grace, maybe after 3 weeks or 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 9 weeks, whatever time frame would be, whenever the government will say the situation is okay and we'll again be back on our business, market will open up, business will come back to its usual. Do you think that we will be having the same kind of trends which were existing, let us say, in the dairy segment or food segment, which were there on 1st of March, or which will be there, which are there today on 27th of March? No. The trends are going to be drastically changed. Today morning itself, I was writing a blog, and in that the most important thing which came to my mind, and I shared with others also. It was that there is going to be a paradigm shift in which all the governments in the world will have to look at the way they design the public health system. Right now, it has been proven very clearly in China, in Italy, in Spain, that public health is not about hospitals. Public health is all about immunity. There should have been this COVID-19 or this corona is not the last virus on the earth. There are many to come, and now they'll keep on coming. In that particular case, The government medical system is not going to come to our rescue. It is our own immunity, and immunity is nothing. It is a function of a lifestyle in which food is one of the part, in which dairy is one of the most important part. So now when such kind of paradigm changes would occur, then you can think that dairy is bound to have an altogether different kind of trend setting, and the people will be demanding more immunity booster products, and they will be expecting it from dairy. So those are the kind of opportunity. But that is not all. That is not the only opportunity. The second most important thing which is going to happen, now this corona will make home delivery system, which was a very tough call earlier. Now corona is going to make this home delivery system a necessity. It's no more a luxury. We are bound to have such kind of, because I personally feel that, maintaining distance, social distancing, this thing is not going to finish up soon. It will take some time. At that time, there are so many opportunities in supply chain, so many opportunities in new product development. So you'll have to look at the things from this perspective. Now, when we look at your final venture, then it is the sweet spot which we are talking about. So what you are good at means your competence. What you want to do, that is what you are passionate about. And what all is needed, that is the opportunity. At the trisection of that is what your sweet spot, and start defining it. And what this sweet spot exactly is. It is, as I mentioned, it's a cross section of competence, passion and opportunity. But how to define it? So all of us who are trying to enter into this space of dairy or as a startup in any other area, we need to understand that there are 4 major activities, and you have to find out that sweet spot by keeping these 4 activities at the back end. Now any business, you take any business on earth, it has got 4 activities only. First of all, there is a lead creation, then there is a conversion, then there is a order preparation, and then there is delivery and servicing. So when I talk of lead creation, it may be any kind of marketing which you want to do, the kind of promotion you want to go in for, the digital marketing or analog, anything of that sort. And then comes conversion. Conversion has more to do with your sales pitch, with your sales capabilities, how good you are in communication, networking, personal selling. And then order preparation. Order preparation is all about the all functional areas of business, maybe the procurement, the processing, the quality, the warehousing, finance, accounting, inventory, everything. And then distributing it, selling it, servicing it, and marketing it. So in that particular case, you have to identify that out of all these 4 areas, what you are going to put on table. So where is your sweet spot? So that is what is going to play an important role. So that sweet spot should be identified somewhere in any of these 4 activities. So let's look at a firm's life cycle and entrepreneurial journey. You have defined most of the things in terms of your COP model is very well defined. And then, so internally that attitude has been built up because on your COP you have decided what is to be done. You have some idea which has come out of some opportunity, you are quite passionate about it, you have planned, you have worked on that opportunity, you have been established as a startup. And then in second stage, now you have surfaced up, because most of these things, your attitude, your idea, your planning, the opportunity is still under the surface. As a startup, you have come with some kind of registration, some kind of name, you have started to talk about it with your friends and others. You have got it registered, you have get it going, and as some of very good experts says that you have got your first 10 customers, you have got your first 100 customers. So those kind of things are there. Your product is ready, you are growing, and then you are reaching a stage of maturity where you will plan to diversify. So this is the whole journey. The important thing to be seen over here is that everything which is being seen over the line or over the surface has got deep down inside the kind of models which we have discussed. But are these models sufficient? Is this sufficient? From business perspective, from my perspective, maybe they are sufficient, but what about your consumer? How the consumer is going to look, because your business now is to be seen from the consumer side. So how it is to be looked by the consumer will depend on the last and the most important part of our discussion today, that is your why. So when I say your why, so it's a very good model and given by a branding and positioning guru, Mr. Simon Sinek. And it starts with, it's a 3-circle model, and he also calls it as a golden circle. Even in management, most of the time it is being called as golden circle, where we see why in the middle, how in between, and what which is there on the outside. Now your consumer is in the world where this circle is there. So to the consumer only what is visible. So most of the time what is visible is the what part. So when we look at what from dairy perspective, it could be anything, like people come and they say we want to set up a farm, or we want to set up a collection center, or we want to have our own chilling center, or we want to come into business of dairy logistics, or we want to set up a processing plant. Somebody is interested in distribution only. He wants to take up distribution of some established company. Couple of persons come with retailing mindset. There are some other, we dealt with Caventers at one point of time. So in that particular case, it was more on franchising. And then the new bug, that is e-commerce. So there are so many things which people are trying to enter into. So that is what. And whenever we look at this particular what, then we find it is that there is a scarcity of ideas and thought process, because practically everyone is coming with almost a similar kind of idea. So I call it as a state of intellectual poverty while you are deciding what is to be done. In the next stage comes how. Now that is where some kind of internal systems, or you have to put your mind on that how to do that what. It could be done in a conventional way. There are farming business is 8,000 year old. There have been dairy plants, there have been collection, chilling. So many people are doing it, unorganized sector, organized sector, semi-organized sector. But you want to go a little bit organized, you want to go a little bit high tech, you want to have some level of automation, you want to have some level of digitalization, AI, ML, IoT, you want to have those kind of interventions. You want to be innovative, you want to do the same thing but in an innovative way. You want to again relate yourself to the core path, that same doodh, ghee, makhan. The other could be the peripheral way, where you are touching upon more interesting areas like maybe flavored paneer or flavored butter. You want to be the owner of the business. This is how you want to do. And you may be planning, there are so many people who are planning to set up their venture only for doing white labeling for others. So there are different kind of how. So now when we have shifted from what to how, now we are started to feel that yes, there is some kind of a little bit of differentiation, and for that maybe somewhere either you become in a better position to earn margins, or you are in a better position to charge premium. So slightly, your dream, which is supposedly into dairy sector, is getting refined, and you may gain more clarity by doing this exercise. But the most important thing is why. So now this why is the most important part. First of all, it is at the core. As Simon Sinek says, if we look at these 3 circles, then you may consider the core where why is written as our core brain. And in the core brain, it is only the emotions, which we call it as a kind of limbic brain also, where emotions are there. So your why, what you are, which can be linked to the passion, what you are ready to suffer for also, it's more of an emotional feeling. And same is true with your consumer also. In their limbic brain also, it is going to be that emotional part, because he may be more attached to you emotionally. He is ready to spend money because most of the time the motive is emotional for most of the purchases. And when we look at what is where neocortex is there, or where language is there, where analytical thinking is there, so whichsoever part of yours which immediately after you think that I want to go into dairy and immediately start feeling afraid of Amul or mother dairy, that is the neocortex part, because what you are doing, you are being analytical at that time. But let's look at the why part. So why people are coming? So there are emotional reasons for that. They may not be happy with their current position. Not only in dairy, they may be working in any sector, but now they want to enter into dairy or explore dairy. They want to do something of their own, which is a very common reason. They want to go back to roots. And most of the time I have found the people with this kind of why. They want to go back to roots, villages, agriculture, core business, core areas, where they want to connect to people, their requirements at the core and purest level. They connect with their customer much better than others. Few people go for real estate leverage or demand supply, but then one of another reason which is coming out as a very strong reason or strong why is health and purity to next generation. You are becoming conscious of the next generation. Till now we used to think, I personally used to think that what kind of world am I going to leave for my kids? What kind of problem may come in front of my kids, let's say, once we leave this world? I am so glad that whatever has to happen with this coronavirus, so that situation my kids are right now facing with me. In that particular case, probably this is another opportunity for me to making my next generation ready for such kind of calamities. So I am okay with it. But trust me, whenever we look deep and when we think that is it the world which the generation which are elder to us have actually left us with? No, probably our previous generation didn't leave the world the way we are handling it today. So same we don't want for our next generation. So that is another, the health and purity is a very strong why with people coming in. The profit is one of them, and then aspirational gaps. Today and even after corona it will happen more. We will be more concerned about the health of our family and kids. We won't be that much concerned about whether he becomes an engineer or a doctor or what, I don't know. But we will be more concerned about what kind of food they get and their immunity. So when we talk of this why, so in that particular case, because it is so emotional, so consumer has a tendency, and as Simon Sinek says, he says that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy, what the neocortex is going to analyze with language, with advertisements. They are going to buy why you do it. What is your emotional reason? What is your emotional connect with the product, with this particular industry, with this particular sector, with this particular venture, with this particular whatever you are doing, your activity? So my point is, friends, that please give some serious thoughts on these questions. And one thing I can tell you for sure, that though we keep on talking about and we keep on looking for the big idea, actually whenever we are talking about a big idea, and let me tell you that nothing starts big in this world. Everything starts small. It is something like the story which I normally share, that a person was looking for a great man who took birth in Porbandar, and he was asking everyone over there. And then he was being taken to the oldest person of the city, maybe 100 years plus. And he asked, "Sir, tell me the house of that great person who took birth at Porbandar." So that fellow vouched on his 117 years of experience in life. He said that, "My dear friend, I can say that in whole of my conscious life, I have always seen kids taking birth in Porbandar. I have never seen a great man taking birth in Porbandar." So whether it is Mahatma Gandhi or anybody else, the journey started as a kid only. So at the end, here is a homework which I am giving to you, and probably before our next session, which would be episode 2 on 30th of March, I would like you to spend some time and answer these questions. You may share it on the WhatsApp group Breaking the Horizon, where already you have become members, and share it. How did you like this first episode? And if you have some queries, you can post it over there, and I'll be sharing my email also, my WhatsApp number also. So on WhatsApp, please use it that as WhatsApp only, not for calling purpose. First question: what I am good at? So I have explained you how to explore what you are good at, your competence. What I can suffer for. So what is your passion? That I have also explained. What's the trend now? So look at the opportunity. What's my dream? Now, dream is quite a abstract thing, but let me put it up like this. Whatever you want to do, whatever your dream is about your venture, define that in 7 words. Limit your definition to 7 words. Maybe on the WhatsApp group, you keep on sharing your 7-word kind of dream, and all of us, it will be a good learning activity, inspiring activity, insightful activity on the WhatsApp group to look at your 7 words and then accordingly suggest you or praise you or whatever. And whatever you do is correct. So there is nothing wrong or right that way. The 5th point is what I'll be putting on the table for this dream. That is, the sweet spot I mentioned on the 4 activities. That are you a good salesperson? Will you be acting as a marketing person? Will you be into conversion? Will you take care of finance? Are you an operational guy? Are you a techie? Whatever. Are you a supply chain person? Are you a quality person? Define which area or areas which you would like to look into. Then what is the nature of business I am planning to take up? You will be coming to that golden circle. You will be defining on the what part of your business. Then you define your how part of the business, that how will you accomplish your business goals, whatever you have selected at the what level. And lastly, at first place, why I am entering into this field. That is what is going to be your emotional pitch to your consumer. First of all, that has to be honest. That pitch has to be transparent. You have to exercise highest level of integrity while defining that emotional pitch. But define it. Why you want to enter in. So now with this, I finish this episode. I hope you have liked it. And let's meet on 30th of March. And keep on sharing your views, your perspective on the WhatsApp group. You can mail me also. You can note down my WhatsApp number also. Most of the time I am not picking up calls. That is why I stopped you calling me. But on WhatsApp I am most of the time available. You can visit our website also. But definitely share something. Share your views. It will help us improve upon or touch upon the areas which we might have missed. Thank you very much for being there with me. And at this particular time, I again with all of you, you remain safe, you be safe at your home with your family. And I know all of us with our efforts will sail this country out of this particular calamity. Okay, bye. Thank you.